What is going on? 208. Welcome. We got Chance and Justin. It's here. I don't know what to say. It's here. Football's here. We've seen it. We got through the first week. It is here, guys. We are live. We're going live. We're after it. It's National Lazy Day, but we're not lazy here. We're putting in the work for you guys to make you guys league champions, because that's what it's all about. Let's buckle in, lock in, subscribe, like the channel. Let's get going right now.
Football's back, baby.
It is, gentlemen.
I mean,
so good to see you guys.
It's half back. It's half back.
Oh, we'll take it. I'm counting it. It was so much fun to watch football this weekend. So much fun.
The best.
Oh, man. Do you have anything fun, gentlemen? Anything over the weekend? Watching football, I suppose, right?
I caught some nasty food poisoning from a new spot in McCall. You know, I would say that 3 out of 4 people in my party recommended Spitfire Grill in McCall, but I, being the one in those 4, caught me some gnarly food poisoning, and they also spilled a whole margarita on me. So
they may be new. Give them a chance. We don't want to beat them up. Let's not beat them up.
Listen,
they're definitely good.
I'm not here to hate on them. I'm just saying my experience was subpar. But that's bound to happen when you're just brand new opening. So yesterday was fair enough. Yesterday was a rough day for me.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Glad you're back. Justin, how about you?
Nope. I was just trying to be lazy, trying to extend my summer, but it's basically over now. So football's starting tomorrow. So here we go.
It is. Yep. Football is live tomorrow. We'll be locked and rolling in for sure first thing in the morning. But let's get right into it. It's fantasy football season, guys. Justin, let's get into the news.
What's going on?
So I think one of the biggest injuries, I guess probably the most high prominent players, I guess, in my eyes, was an offensive lineman that ruptured his patellar tendon. And this is a big one because usually players are never the same after this. This is Rashawn Slater, one of the best tackles in the league. Really sucks. He just signed a contract extension in like 2 days beforehand, so at least he got paid. My guess is they'll probably move Joe Alt out to left tackle and then kind of reshuffle that O-line. I think that's a big hit to the running game in general, that Chargers offense in general. Just sucks to see injuries. I hate it, especially for a player of that caliber. There was a player that got stretchered off in the Atlanta game where they just basically suspended play. They said all updates are good. He has some responsiveness, so all prayers out to him. Hopefully he's doing okay. Hopefully he comes back. Tajay Spears, Rachaad White, I think were 2 big ones that are hurt. I think that just really bumps up Tony Pollard and Bucky Irving. And if Sean Tucker, that running back from Syracuse, if he is in your dynasty league, I think he's a good pickup right now. Todd Bowles raves about him a lot.
They love that guy.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He had I think it was a heart issue coming out of Syracuse where he kind of got knocked down. Maybe it was a neck injury.
It was a neck injury.
Neck injury. So he got knocked down in the draft to get one undrafted, which was kind of a surprise to me. And I think this was the first game, the Colts game, maybe, where Anthony Richardson just got obliterated.
Lit up.
Just got killed, and his pinky was dislocated. It was pretty bad. But they said he should be fine. There's no fractures, so that's good to see. But that's basically all the injury news I have. Again, hopefully all those guys can heal up and be ready to go.
One thing I did see also is Jaden Reed is in a walking boot. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he is likely to miss week 1.
Is that what it is? Yeah, okay.
Yep,
I just saw he was in the boot, and they were, Ladd McConkey. Have we talked Ladd's injury?
No, he hasn't practiced since the 28th, correct?
Yeah, he hasn't practiced since the 28th, but it's a secret.
It's Tyreek Hill too. Tyreek Hill was just held out. They're like, okay, now it's oblique.
Yeah. So since we're talking wide receivers, you got Jaden Reed and Ladd McConkey and Tyreek Hill, who are all not 100% at the very least cognitively.
I do want to throw a shout out for our 208 Larson. He was put on IR today. He was in a walking boot, so It's like, dang it, they did sign another running back. So, dang it
I
all,
love-
he
I
did
love
score.
Land.
He did score a 2-yard touchdown in that preseason
With the
game.
broken
We were
foot.
super excited for him. With
He's a freak.
classic Land, tough as nails. Gosh, speedy recovery.
When,
Land.
when
get
did you
back
guys
to
get on the Land Larison bandwagon?
I mean, he played at Valley View. He was a dude. He 70 pointed
He's a
us.
208
my
guy.
first year.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a. I didn't know that he was an Idaho boy.
Yeah, he was our first
Yes,
game my
sir.
first year there, and he
is
smoked
very good,
us.
very good,
Oh,
yep,
I-
very good player. Very
I just
athletic.
remember a bunch of buzz on him, and I watched some of his tape. I had no idea he was an Idaho boy.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
really-
sir.
That's 2 touchdowns this weekend by Idaho boys. Oh no, Colston didn't score, Teddy. Right, Colston didn't score today, but he caught his first.
Nope. Did he score? Did he catch a pass today?
I know he caught a pass because it popped up on
Did he?
my
Okay.
popped on my stuff. 208
Yeah,
representative.
'cause- yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know he just played pretty much the first quarter, and that was it for him. So, yep, 1 catch for 8 yards. Yep. There you are.
Any of you guys
Well,
have any
speaking of-
standout stuff from preseason stuff? I think that's what Matt was going to allude to.
Dude, just
Any-
Yeah, that's kind of where I was headed next.
yeah. Also shouting out explosive white boys from the New England Patriots. Efton Chisholm, looking great.
Eastern
I
Washington.
loved it.
I mean, like I really like Kyle Williams, and I want him to succeed. And I don't want to have 2 New England wide receivers on my fantasy team. It feels like a real not good way to manage a team. But Efton Chisholm continues to get buzz.
I'm gonna throw a little nugget at you, and you guys can utilize this for your garage leagues, right? And no one's gonna draft him at all, and it's kind of fun. But tell me what you guys thought of Cam Little's 70-yard field goal for
Ah,
Jacksonville.
that was
That's
nuts.
so incredibly awesome. Now, keep that in mind. He was fairly accurate last year. He was like 5 of 6 or something like that from 50, and they're going to be a more potent offense.
Mhm.
He could be a very good kicker. So keep that in your back pocket for your kicker. I know a lot of people don't like him, but you can get him super late if on a waiver wire. 70
I like
yards.
that.
Bomb.
Hey, for those of you who are in Superflex or Superflex Dynasty, I really liked what I saw from Cam Miller. Speaking of Cams, Cam Miller out of North Dakota State, he was a guy that Tom Brady wanted to get out of North Dakota State. I
He
mean,
didn't look good.
he looked really good. And again, Geno Smith is Geno Smith. And I'm glad he is finding his groove, but I just have a hard time buying in that Geno Smith is going to be that guy for a long time. Worth a stash if you're a best ball dynasty team.
I think my
Absolutely.
biggest thing was watching Jackson Dart. That touchdown that he threw, he just stood there. He got absolutely murdered, and he just stood there and threw a dot. Nice little corner out. I hope he's the future. I would like to see the Giants at least be somewhat competent, especially with Malik Neighbors, and it seems like a good defense. That defensive line is going to be scary to deal with.
Yeah, one thing I noticed while I was just watching this weekend was I felt like, we're all waiting for that under the radar late round or UDFA rookie to pop that we can get a little excitement out. I don't think we saw any of that this weekend, but a couple rookies, Jackson Dart looked good, Travion Henderson looked good. I mean, there were rookies that were supposed to look good who did look good. So that is always encouraging.
Speaking of that is a great segue because I do want to talk a little bit about Genty. Genty had, I believe, 3 carries minus 1 yard, something like that. Do not panic. Please do not panic. Let your league mates panic, and maybe he'll slide late in the draft where you are, and you draft him. He is going to get so many carries. I'm not really worried about it. You guys worried about the, I guess, lack of performance, if you want to call it a preseason game?
No, but I mean, in the same game that he had that bad performance, he got showed up by his former BSU teammate in
George Lonnie.
George Holani. George Holani looked really good for, since we're shouting out 208 guys, George Holani, who was the running back for Boise State before Genty, man, he looked good and explosive.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really. I was going to talk a little about the New Orleans Saints, the Chargers game. There was kind of that battle between Rattler and show whatever for Shugs,
Chuck.
whatever his name is, Shuck. I don't. I
40
mean,
yard
I didn't.
touchdown, baby. Let's go.
They both looked awful in my opinion. They both
They're
did
gonna
not
be
look good.
so bad.
I didn't think Trey Lance looked any better. He's still a work in progress for the Chargers too.
Hey,
so
how
nothing
long
there-
until
there's nothing
Kellen?
there.
How long until Kellen takes off the headset and says, "Let me do this myself"?
Whew.
Not long in that one.
So I do have high hopes for Rattler too. I really do like him. He's kind of the more of the season guy. Had some good showings last year, but I guess we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of our show, wide receiver rankings. Let's get into it. We'll get this pulled up here and wide receiver rankings again. I'm still looking for the football. Somebody to name our little guy. I think it's gonna be awesome. Pick the name that you guys select. Maybe we'll send you something. We'll figure it out for sure. So
We can.
I do want to
We could wrangle together some merch.
Yeah, we'd wrangle up something for sure. This is last year's rankings of your top 36. Now it's a little bit small. I understand that. Justin, I know you combed through it a little bit. Did you have any takeaways out of just last year, what you saw that might be related to this year? Again, nothing translates from last year to this year. That's right. It's almost like a clean slate. But is there something that you saw, you're like, you know what, this probably won't happen again, or this could happen again?
I feel like it's sticking right out to me. I mean, there's two things, I guess. It's Terry and 13 touchdowns. It just seems like such an anomaly that he had that many touchdowns. Again, he only had 117 targets, caught 82 of them, which, again, is a really big outlier as well. I mean, I just don't see it repeating. He's starting late. And then the other thing we were talking about before the show is T. Higgins. He's up there. Like, if he would have played all 17 games, he played 12 out of 17, he probably would have finished as a wide receiver, a top 5 wide receiver. Like, he was averaging 18 points a game, which is right there with Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson. Just kind of nuts in my eyes. Like, I think I would readjust my rankings a little bit with T. That Bengals defense looks awful. Just really bad. I think a lot of scores are going to be 35-42, not in the Bengals' favor. So we'll see what happens. Those are the two things that kind of stood out to me.
Chance, how about you?
Well, and I just want to echo that. It's a thing we didn't really talk about in the preseason rundown, but the Bengals' first team offense looked as advertised, right? They looked great, crisp, sharp. I'm glad they're getting them started out now so that they can actually hit their peak by week 1 instead of waiting till week 4 or 5 to get their poop in a group. But no, I mean, and we'll talk about it as we get into this, but your conversation about T. Higgins is similar to the one about Ja'Marr Chase. We talk about these rankings have no bearing on this next year, but it's the easiest thing in the world for me to say Ja'Marr Chase could be the guy to repeat as fantasy wide receiver 1 in back-to-back years for the first time since, anyone know?
Antonio Brown? That's my
Antonio Brown was the last one to go back-to-back number 1 finishes. So, I mean, that to me is it. And we'll get into it when we talk about our rankings, but
definitely some stiff competition that we're going to talk about. You're right, Chance. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, there's a couple of things that kind of surprised me. I did not realize Wan'Dale Robinson was the 36th overall wide receiver, which would have been a wide receiver 3 in where, teams are carrying 3 wide receivers. Didn't realize that. And I think Justin's one that told me between Wan'Dale Robinson and Neighbors, there was something like 300 and something targets between the two, which is insanely high. The other one is JSN. JSN was 9 last year, and now they're kind of starting over. So it's interesting to see where we'll have him in our rankings. And there's some on here for sure that we probably won't see back there. I think Calvin Ridley will be a little bit higher, but we'll talk about that. It's interesting to go back and look at these, how they finished, and just kind of projecting forward of like, could they? Has anything changed? Is there enough that's changed? But I think a good rule of thumb, to Chance's point, is don't bank on things happening last year to this year. You might just use it as a gauge is all. So, all right, moving on right out of the gate. And we did this last time with our rankings. I'm going to run those through. The trophies, which we have in here, are players that we like, that we think are good value and could be, if you want to call it, league winners. But let's get into it right now. And here's our top 3 or 4, I should say. Nothing new on this one. You kind of go on any website, anywhere, any rankings, and you're going to find these top 4. Let me start with Chance. Anything here strike you? Are they interchangeable or no?
I really think they are. I mean, I think these, all 4 of these guys, I don't have to squint to imagine that they end up as wide receiver 1. It could end up as the wide receiver 1 at the end of the year. I mean, Jamar Chase is stud. Justin Jefferson's Justin Jefferson. Did anyone check on CeeDee Lamb after his collision on the sideline?
He's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Is he?
Like, people were mad about it.
Pride is.
That is a penalty. Like, so everybody understands, like, you cannot get in the way of refs. Like, I've seen coach get ejected for getting in the way. Like, that is a penalty, 100% sure. So,
his pride was injured there for sure.
And I mean, the only one that we have questions about JJ McCarthy, and we have questions about Penix. You know, like those are the 2 quarterbacks we have questions about. But I mean, and I don't mean this in any way, because I might have been the highest of our rankings on Drake London.
You guys were both higher than me, and I was blown away.
Yeah, but I mean, and oh, you had him too, Matt. Justin won't take this as a slight because he gets it, but Drake London could have a Jamar Chase problem in that the Falcons traditionally don't have good defenses. They don't have a good defense. And so if they end up being a team, like Drake London might get a lot of garbage time. You know, I don't mean, like it's 1 of 2 routes. Either they're really good and Michael Penix is slinging it and they're just killing it, winning games, or their defense can't hold water, and Michael Penix is slinging it to come back and try to win games. But I think Drake London is going to be the beneficiary of both of those scenarios.
Justin,
Matt's going to talk mostly about London because that's his guy right now. But I think the one thing that is nice about training camp is Zach Robinson, who is the OC, went down, I guess, with Kalen DeBoer, since that's where he was. And they've incorporated a lot of Washington scheme from Penix's old days, which is a lot of downfield stuff. Like, I think that's what we want to see, is a lot more downfield stuff. Drake is really good downfield. He's really good at contested balls. A lot of corner routes that I've seen in training camp, which is super nice. I think he's just going to be a funnel. That's just how they're going to treat him, as a funnel. So, Matt, you can talk about your boy, number 2 on your rankings.
I think London could easily be the number 1 wide receiver this year. I'm that high on him. Of course, you've got to, certain things have to happen, which Chance alluded to. But I think you get him in the 2nd round, and sometimes I've seen him fall middle 2nd round, and, you pick up, I don't know, maybe you get a Genty in the middle there, and you come around and get London. I think that's a very, very good start. But I'm also very high on Penix. If I'm going to be behind London, I have to be high on Penix. I think Penix could be a top 12 quarterback for sure. But I think he's, in my mind right now, London is that guy that could win you a league at really good value. So he's my guy for sure.
He's just hoping that everyone has Penix envy by the end of the season.
That's right.
Oh, I hope so. He looks really good. He's running the ball a little bit, which is, I want to see him do that. He is a legit 4-5 guy, 4-4 guy. He is an athlete. I would like to see him run the ball. I know he's had some issues knee-wise, but he's a freak. He's just a freak athlete. He's got huge hands. He throws the ball so hard. So we'll see.
Yeah. Moving on to 5, 6, and 7, Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors, St. Brown, and BTJ get into the 8th spot. Justin, this time I'll start with you. Anything that you like here, or maybe you had something a little bit different?
Yeah, Nico's my guy. I was surprised I was the 2nd highest on him. Matt was definitely the lowest, but Chance had him higher. I didn't know Chance was the Nico stan, so he was just so good last year. I guess he has a special place in my heart because in one of my dynasty leagues, I got him off waivers, and I just sat with him for a long time. But he was the wide receiver 1 starting out last year, 14, 23, 10, 27, 14, his first 5 games. And And that last game against Buffalo, it was that 70-yard touchdown that he caught where he freaking pulled his hamstring and he was out for 5 games. But again, I think the Texans will really rely on him. He is their typical X. He's 6'4", he's 222. I'm a sizest at wide receiver. He's baby Julio to me, and Julio has a special place in my heart. So I think he is right now the Julio Jones of our league. He's just a super easy player for me to draft.
Chance?
Totally. I just of all the guys that we have coming up outside of those top 4, which I could see all of them finishing as the wide receiver 1. Nico's the only other guy on our list that I say, yes, I could see him be wide receiver 1 at the end of the year, fantasy season wise. He's that talented. And I think CJ Stroud is going to get his poop in a group and it could be magic again. There are just too many for me in this next group, and again, we're still in the top 8, still all guys who are good. They're just, the further we get away from Nico Collins, the more question marks I have about those guys having a road to be the wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I think for me, and it's not, again, I like all the rest of them too. I think for me, it's where Nico is in that second round. I think there's running backs that I want there. That's what makes it a little bit goofy for me. I wish he would fall a little bit more. I also am a big fan of Jaden Higgins, the rookie. I think I don't think he'll cut into it, but I do think they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. So there's going to be a lot of garbage time. They're going to be airing it out. It makes me a little bit worried, do they go, you know what, Nico, let's back him off when you need him? I don't know. But everyone else in there, BTAJ, St. Brown and Neighbors, I like a lot too. There's nothing here that I'm like, nope, status quo. So
yeah, and with Nico, I think he's going to get a really hot start to the season. They're not running the ball in Houston to start the season. Like they're like the Dallas Cowboys. There's a running back shortage in Texas. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be Woody Marks and the ghost of Nick Chubb.
Hey, Dameon Pierce,
yeah.
Come on now.
And these other guys, Neighbors, St. Brown, and Thomas. Neighbors was awesome last year. He crushed it, and hopefully he has a more reliable quarterback. And it's scary to think of what he could do with that. But I'm just down on the Lions offense this year. And I really am curious what we think Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter is going to do to BTJ. We just don't know that. It's a variable that until I see it, I don't know. He won't be my wide receiver 1 on any of my teams for that very reason.
Just one thing with the Travis Hunter thing, he played 65% of his snaps on offense in the slot, that's where you want him. I think he's going to eat into Brian Thomas's work a little bit. Malik Neighbors doesn't scare me. I think he's the closest thing to Jamar Chase that we have in this league. If Jameis Winston gets to play quarterback for the Giants, Malik's going to go off because Jameis is going to throw 30 touchdowns and 30 INTs. It is what it is. He's just going to gunsling it around. So.
Moving on, we have the 9, 10, 11, and 12 spot. Puka, AJ Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., and G. Will kind of round that out. And I believe, Chance, I'm going to start with you because you have Marvin Harrison with your trophy there.
Yeah.
Tell us what your thoughts are.
I think that Marvin Harrison Jr., he coming out of college, he was Maserati Marv, right? He was the projected second coming, and we'll just see. I think he's added weight, and you've seen some really positive comments out of training camp. Now he might have a Kyler Murray problem, and that's why but that's baked into where he's ranked for us, right? We don't know if Kyler Murray is the most overrated quarterback in football right now, or if he could be good. But I think they're finally figuring out that they can use Marvin Harrison Jr. in a way that he will succeed and be as dominant as he was in college. So, he's a guy for me that if I end up with him as my wide receiver 1, I'm happy with it. I'm just gonna. Sometimes you just got to bank on eye test vibes and pure athletes. And he has always been all of those things to me.
Good, Justin?
Yeah, I agree. Especially I think the biggest outlier from this picture is he is a 4th round pick right now. That is crazy value. So you could realistically go running back or wide receiver. You could stack it where Marvin is your number 2 wide receiver. And maybe it is Nico, maybe it is Drake. And Marvin gets to be your 2. Like you might end up with 2 1s.
Dude, Drake and Marv would be a dirty combo.
Like you get a lot of value. I think when he starts sneaking up, I think Chance took him in the 3rd out of our mock. I think if you're really that adamant about it, I think you need to go get him in the 3rd and not wait. So that's where I'm at with him. Everybody in this tier, this Puka, the Matthew Stafford stuff scares me. AJ Brown's getting to that cliff. I've just never been a Garrett Wilson guy, but that's where I'm at. I love Marvin right now. He's a really good value.
Yeah, I do find it interesting. And just to tag on Matthew Stafford, sounds like he's recouping. He's going to be playing, at least practicing this next week. But if you look at Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Garrett Wilson, all 3 of those wide receivers are very, very closely tied to their quarterback of what they can do. If Stafford's out, Puka's value drops. If Fields is suspect and doesn't do well, G. Will drops, right? And we already talked about Marvin Harrison. A.J. Brown's the only one in here that you're like, okay, it's Hurts. We know what he does if he can just stay healthy with his knees. Yeah, I agree, Chance. He's very underrated.
I love A.J. Brown. Like, he is such an underrated wide receiver for just how freaking good he is. And he's been good for a long time, and he's great. I will tell you just real quick, I was talking about Puka Nacua Stafford injuries with my dad and my brother the other day. And if Matt Stafford, if his lingering back issue were to continue to be an issue, which it sounds like it's not, but I said the dream for me as like a closet Rams fan, I like the Rams. I just do. I like McVay. I would love for them to go get my boy Kirk Cousins from LA, reunite Sean McVay with Kirk Cousins. You know, they were together in Washington, you know, and then let Kirk Cousins take you to the playoffs and win a Super Bowl. Let's go, Kirko Chains.
Yeah. I do think Puka's too high here, especially with the addition of Adams. I mean, we still like him at 9, but a 1st round value, I don't think any of us are taking him in the 1st round. So, do
you guys, just real quick, last little bit on Puka, do you ever have that fear that, like, Puka was he undrafted? He was a day 3 pick. He was drafted pretty low, right?
Yeah, he was drafted. He was just low. Yeah.
You know, with guys like Puka who come out of nowhere, right? He just came out of nowhere and blew up. Do you ever worry that those guys, like, their shelf life is just going to be less? A great example is like Dameon Pierce, right? Dameon Pierce is a running back. You know, he was not highly drafted. He showed out his rookie season and then kind of just fell off a cliff. I always have that fear with my fantasy players, if they're not guys with pedigree, that they're more likely to fall off in a bad situation than other guys. Is that just me? Am I crazy in that?
Especially, I don't think so. Especially when they're tied to somebody. If Stafford were to leave, I think he would drop significantly. And just for reference, Puka was our 5th round pick, 177. Mm-hmm. And it sometimes it feels like you could have that Linsanity vibe with him a little bit, right? Just explode and then just kind of fade off. We're gonna see. We will certainly see. I don't know if that's the case, but it's certainly on the table.
I don't think so. I kind of disagree with that. Like, the Rams are just really good at drafting late round guys, and wide receivers are so much different than running backs. The only thing that scares me, like, about Puka is the same thing that scares me about Isaiah Pacheco. Like, they just run really hard, where it's like, is he gonna last that long as a wide receiver? Like, he just gets, like, he just like wants to fight for every inch instead of just like getting out of bounds or going down on first. I think that's the only thing that scares me, that he's probably only going to play until he's 29 or 30. So,
yeah, fair enough. Moving on to 13, 14, 15, and I guess we have a trophy here at 16. But here they are: McConkey, Jason, T. Higgins, and Hunter. And I think I'm going to start with Justin. What do you got here with this group?
I think McConkey, I think you're going to see his ADP start to work its way down, especially with Keenan coming in. Trey Harris looks decent. Lambert Smith looks decent. JSN scares the crap out of me. I don't know why. I think a lot of people are super high on him. Maybe you guys can look at the consensus of like ESPN and stuff, but I think he's a lot higher. We have him decently lower. And you guys saw what I thought about T. Higgins. I'm super excited for that Bengals offense. Not excited. If I can watch half the Bengals games where I can just watch their offense and just like skip forward through their defense, like, that'd be perfect for me.
Yeah, JSN on ESPN is 15.
Okay. So we're close, I guess.
Yeah, we're right there. Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Chance.
I think JSN, like, we looked at those rankings from last year. Like, he surprised finishing as a top 10 wide receiver. And more than anything, like, now there's no DK there. I mean, you have Torrey Horton and Jake Bobo. And, like, I just think he's, again, it would not surprise me if he finishes the season as the, reception leader in the NFL. Like, I think they're just going to feed him. And he reminds me of Garrett Wilson a little bit, in that they were real similar in college. I mean, both Ohio State guys, real similar, but he's finally breaking out in a way that I go, yeah, I wish I would have got on board earlier.
Yeah, no, I think all these guys, I am probably lower on McConkey as well. JSN, I that's about where I have him. Higgins is one of those guys that could do well, but I'm the one who put the little trophy by Hunter for sure. I think he could be a top 12 wide receiver this year. I think they're going to utilize him and use both with him and BTJ. I think there's plenty of targets to go around over there. And I can get him in the 6th round. So start doing some funny math here, right? If I can get London, we already kind of talked about it. If I can get London, Marvin Harrison Jr., and turn around and get Travis Hunter as my top 3 wide receivers, right? Or Travis Hunter, actually not Jr., but Travis Hunter. Yeah, sign me up, because I'm probably going to get a running back, maybe a tight end in there, or 2 running backs out of that and then wait on tight end. I really, really like him. The kid is uber talented, and if you saw his game film, he couldn't tackle, so they're going to use him more on offense. No, I made that. He missed a wide open tackle, but I do like him. They're going to feed him the ball, to what Justin said earlier.
The Travis Hunter love and the Brian Thomas Jr. love, like, those things I think are appropriate, but what they scream to me is Trevor Lawrence value.
Yes.
Like, you can't
100%.
have 2 guys that consensus top 24 guys, both of them. You can't have 2 of those guys and not have serious production from the quarterback position. And I just think that T-Law, much to my chagrin, based on Lineberry's dynasty team, but I think T-Law could be a sneaky top 10 wide receiver quarterback this year.
Yep, I agree. Moving on to the next round here, 17, 18, 19, and 20. DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, and Devontae Smith rounding up the 20 there. And you can see their value is 4th round. You're pretty much getting 4th round, except for Devontae Smith in the 5th. And Chance, I know DK Metcalf is your guy here. You put the little trophy to buy him. Mm-hmm. Oh, what do you got here?
I just he's a guy that, to me, like, this all comes down to what is Aaron Rodgers, right? And we don't know yet. To me, Aaron Rodgers, all I know is that he made Garrett Wilson a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Garrett Wilson and his ranking in last year's stuff happened from the arm of Aaron Rodgers. And I know that what's their tight end? Washington. I know he had some pop in their preseason game. They have Freiermuth. They have Jonnu Smith there. But I could just see, and please don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that DK is Devontae Adams. I'm not saying that. But DK fits that mold of a bigger wide receiver who can go up and get the ball with quite a bit less route running ability than Devontae, who's the GOAT at that. But I just think that DK, for where he's at in the 4th round, to be a guy who Aaron Rodgers might hyper target on the last year Aaron Rodgers might have anything left in the gas tank, I'd be so stoked to have him as my wide receiver too. I'd be super pumped at that.
So last year was one of his worst years. He had 101 targets, 66 receptions for just shy of 1,005 touchdowns. Is that his floor?
I think it's his floor.
Justin?
So I think the thing with the Steelers is, how much does Arthur Smith get in the way of this offense? How long until Aaron Rodgers is like, all right, you're done. I'm running the show now. I think that's a big thing. I think the one thing that is, to Chance's point, is Garrett Wilson was a wide receiver 11, and then Devontae Adams was wide receiver 14, and he threw 15 touchdowns between the 2 of them. Like, Aaron Rodgers, if we can count on one thing, is he throws touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He's always thrown them at a really crazy rate, and I think realistically DK should have a floor of probably 8 to 7 touchdowns. Like realistically, that's where he should be at. And if you score 8 to 7 touchdowns, you're probably going to be a top 12 wide receiver. So betting on Aaron Rodgers, hopefully he hasn't fallen off crazy. He's 2 years now removed from that Achilles. I just don't trust Arthur Smith to feature good players. He's
But-
not good at it.
Like you said, it's like Hackett in New York, right? Like when Hackett wasn't hacking it. Nice. As an OC, like Aaron Rodgers said, hey, this is how I want to run this. And I think Mike Tomlin, who can run and control a team, will see that and would want his quarterback to be successful.
Yeah. I do want to bring up a little bit because we just spent a ton of time on DK. And again, these are all fourth rounders. You have Devontae Adams and Mike Evans, a couple of old dogs that have been in the league a while. And I'm gonna let Justin go first and pick one of those two. Of those three receivers, who do you want here in the fourth round?
Oh, this is tough. I think Ibuka is going to be really, really good, and it scares the crap out of me for Mike Evans right now. The way that Baker talks about him, like I don't think they're going to be able to take Ibuka off the field because he's young. He run blocks like a slot demon, as people are saying. Like I think he's going to take some value away from Mike Evans, and Mike Evans is like Derrick Henry. Like they're like mirrored careers. It's like when are they going to fall off? If Stafford is healthy, I want Devontae Adams. If he's not, I'll take Mike Evans.
Chance?
Yeah, to me, it's Devontae Adams, and I know that Mike Evans has been the picture of consistency, in what he's going to give you in fantasy. But Devontae Adams there's nothing about his game, even everywhere he's been. There's nothing about his game that makes me say, yeah, he's lost a step, or yeah, he's not. He's just such a good route runner. He's going to succeed. He's going to continue to succeed. And he's the kind of guy that Sean McVay would love, right? Like he runs routes like Cooper Kupp did, and that's what Sean McVay loves to scheme guys up for. I think that could be a deadly combo. Again, if Matt Stafford's healthy.
And I did hear Sean McVay talk about Devontae Adams saying he is like an assistant coach on the field. The guy is so incredibly smart and talented. He said it's quite refreshing. So moving on to 21 and through 24. Chance's boy Sutton, but we're going to surprise you here, is 21. McLaurin 22, Rice 23, and Hill 24. Justin, I believe Sutton is your guy that you picked as a little trophy winner here.
He got into the show doc before me. He beat me to the show doc.
I was really low on Sutton last year. I just didn't trust the production, and then Bo Nix is like, hey, I'm a good quarterback. I'm out the ball out. So he's the one. And he's the only definitive one in that offense that we know of right now. Evan Ingram is unknown. RJ Harvey, even though he was listed as RB5, got RB1 reps. You have Marvin Mims. Who else, Chance? Who else are the wide receivers that you
Perfect. Devon Vele is their.
Oh, right. Pat Bryant. Next Marquise Colson.
Yeah.
Sorry, next Michael Thomas. My bad. But anyways, he's a no commodity. If I can get him in the 5th round, I know what he's going to give me. I trust Bo Nix a lot to throw some touchdowns to him. I trust him to hyper target him. I know he's going to be consistent. Where we were at, where like ranking wise, he was just the easiest option. Like he has a very set floor. I know what I'm getting. There's not going to be a lot of differentiation between what he gives me and what he doesn't. So he's going to be a consistent wide receiver.
I forgot to say the rankings on these real fast, but Sutton you get in the 5th round, McLaurin's 4th round, Rice is in the 5th round, and Tyreek Hill is in the 3rd round. So hence the value there for Sutton. Sorry, Chance, go ahead.
No, you're good. Cortland Sutton's a guy in the 5th round that if I'm gonna get a onesie position like tight end or QB in those first 4 rounds, I'm so okay with Cortland Sutton as my wide receiver too, because I know the floor I'm gonna get out of him. Right? Like he's the kind of wide receiver that I'm like, I'll pair him with one of those high upside, maybe unknown or high upside wide receiver ones that I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to get, because I know I'm going to get consistent production out of Cortland Sutton as my wide receiver too.
I do want to bring up just 2 more. Let me kick Hill. Tyreek Hill, get him in the 3rd round. I don't think any of us are going to draft him in the 3rd, but I still think he's going to be productive. The 3rd round just entirely too high. If he does fall, remember, there is a cutoff point when you're drafting. It's like if a player starts falling, there is they've crossed that line, they become value. So Tyreek Hill's probably at least got to get to the 4th round, if not 5th round, to understand that. But the two guys I really want to talk about in this lane here, McLaurin's been holding out. If he continues to hold out and not really wanting to be, are we going to draft him in the 4th? Justin, your thoughts?
Absolutely not. I am on the boat of that you don't draft guys that hold out. They just get hurt. It is what it is. He's going to have some type of touchdown regression. You can't. This hasn't had 13 touchdowns before. I get Jayden Daniels as Jayden Daniels. I don't think Jayden Daniels have too much regression just because of his upside, but I would not take him in the 4th round. Too many good other players.
Chance?
Yeah, I'm the same. And I love Scary Terry. I mean, he's a dude, but I totally agree. Like that holdout missed me on it, you know, and it's kind of similar to Tyreek, you know, like Tyreek, he's the kind of receiver that he's either going to finish in the top 5 or he's going to finish out of wide receiver 2 range, you know, like he's going to boom or he's going to bust to me this season. And I just don't love the vibes there. And I don't love the vibes with Terry McLaurin. I'm just not going to have any shares of either of those two guys, or Rashee Rice for that matter. I won't have any Rashee Rice shares.
Well, that's a great segue because I'm going to go into Rashee Rice right here. So understand, we all know, and we've been playing fantasy for a very long time, you do not win fantasy championships in August. You win them in December. So if Rice gets a suspension of 4 to 6 games, are you spending the value that in the 5th where you could get him and just stash him on your bench, let him serve his games and get back into it to where you could potentially win a championship? Is that a strategy that you'd be willing to do? Chance, let me start with you.
You know, I'm 50-50 on that. And the only reason that I'd be willing to do it is because we're going to move down to these next couple of tiers of guys. And I still think that you could get a guy that could fill his role early on in the season and score you decent floor points to keep you afloat until he comes out. Now it's always the risk, right? If you draft him and you don't have him for the beginning of the season and you go 1-4 or you drop your first 3 games in fantasy, man, digging yourself out of that hole is hard. And especially trying to wait for a guy to show up. It's tough. But I would be willing to risk it depending on my build, because I think you can find guys to fill those shoes for the first, what is it? 5, how many games?
He hasn't got.
We don't know yet, but we're thinking 4 to 6 games.
4 to 6
right?
games.
So we're just speculating. Yeah. So Justin, your thoughts? You say no, you're out.
Yeah, I'm pretty out on him. I just like, if you are in a redraft league, like you usually get 5 to 8 bench spots, and you can't put him on PUP, you can't put him on IR. You could just put yourself in a real big hole right away. And I'm just not about that. I can't just have somebody eat a roster spot. I'm just super against it.
So I'll split the difference for you guys. If he falls into the 6th or 7th round, I'll take him.
Mm-hmm.
I won't take him at 5, but I will take him if he goes a little bit lower. Anyway, moving on to the next 25 through 26 or 25 through 28. Here are these guys. We have George Pickens, Waddle, Tet, and Xavier Worthy. And Justin is all smiles here in this one for sure. But let me start with Chance and your guy Pickens, who I agree with. I like Pickens a lot this year. Go ahead.
Yeah, again, these are guys that as we get a little further down, if Rashee Rice were to fall into this range, like I think that any of these guys could hold water until he were to come back. But George Pickens, I mean, since he was in Georgia, you know, like I've been a big fan of what he's been able to do on the football field. I think that he's one of those players that just didn't fit the team he was on. He just didn't fit the Steelers. You know, it wasn't his vibe. It wasn't his place. Tomlin wasn't his guy. And I think that he's why I'm a little nervous about CeeDee Lamb, because, I mean, we have seen Dak Prescott, whether it was Amari Cooper or, and I'm blanking, but I feel like there's always been a decent number 2 on the Cowboys who's produced for fantasy players. And I don't think any of them have been the talent that George Pickens is. And I think you're going to get a lot of games where you're going to get double coverage on CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is going to be one-on-one with a corner and just beat him over the top. Just beat him because he's more physical than most corners, I think you're going to get a lot of production out of him.
Yeah, I did hear today someone call him a man child, as in his frame is all man, but his mind is a little bit of a child. So if he can figure that out, he will be extremely difficult for defense. And so, Justin, anything to add with this group? I know your guy is Tet McMillan here, and you really like him.
I like T-Mac. When he like runs routes, he does not look like the 6'4", 6'5" guy that he is. He is just a huge human being. He's pretty smooth. I'm just high on this Panthers offense. It could be like I was high on the Titans offense, and it just falls right on its face. I don't think this defense is going to be very good. They have the ghost of Adam Thielen out there. Xavier Legette got kicked out of a game this week.
Dude, don't sleep on Jalen Coker. Don't sleep on.
I agree. I like Coker as well
too, and he looked really good out there. But I just think they're going to hyper target the crap out of this kid. The NFC South has some fun wide receivers with T-Mac, with Mike, with Ibuka, with Drake London. And then I just think he's going to get peppered. And that's what I want in my receivers. I want them to get targets.
Classic NFC South fan. He didn't even mention the Saints. He hates the Saints.
Doesn't like the Saints. He's never done that on any channel there, any other episode. So, and you can get both of these guys in the 6th round. Again, both very good value here for basically being a number 2 wide receiver. Waddle and Worthy. Worthy's interesting if Rice serves a suspension. That could be interesting there. So just keep that in mind. His value may go up fairly quickly.
I think Waddle's interesting just because how confident are you in Tyreek Hill as just straight up, how confident are you that Tyreek Hill is going to finish the season as a Dolphin?
I think it's less about that chance for me. I think you're right. Tyreek Hill's one thing, but just watching the preseason game, and I think Tua got 1 series, and just hearing about it, Tua is going to be a big check down guy. It's get the ball out early. That fits Waddle very, very much so. So I think that's why he's at the 26 and that nearly it's a second wide receiver. They got to get the ball early. They have to keep him healthy, right? Yeah. You saw what was behind him. They don't have anything behind him. It was pretty ugly for sure as far as quarterbacks in Miami. So
it feels like Tyreek is kind of done. Like he just doesn't want to be there. He has outed Achane. Him and Tua had their arguments. Him and McDaniels have had their arguments. He was held out of practice for a mysterious injury, and then they said it's an oblique. I just don't think him and Tua's relationship is very good. Tua seems like a very prideful person, not in a negative way, but that's just not how you talk about him as a person. I feel like that kind of he's in his feelings a little bit about it, which I think he rightfully should be. I don't think Tyreek should finish. I could see him retiring. He is 32. He got his money. Again, I think Jalen Waddle is the one, and I think he's really good value right now.
So we did get a quick question here. We'll pause from Hoop Dynasty, and I'm going to kick it over to you guys on these. But Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, and I'm assuming this is regular PPR, and it really doesn't matter. It's just between those two. Who do you like better? Chance, give me your pick on this.
I'm Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson is so good. I just have too many questions about JJ McCarthy. Give me the known in Joe Burrow.
Justin?
Yeah, I totally agree. Jamar Chase is that guy. He should be 101 in almost every single type of draft, excluding Dynasty Superflexes. But still, you can make a case for that. Like, he's that dude.
I could probably also argue, just seeing some data before, even in a traditional standard league, it's really, really close between that top wide receiver and running back. And so I'd be okay with taking Chase here as well. So Chase takes it away, Dynasty. Hope that helps. Thank you for asking the question. Appreciate it as we move on here. Moving to 29 through 32, DJ Moore.
Oh, yes,
J-Mo,
let's go.
Olave and Mbuka. And so you can get DJ Moore's 4th round, J-Mo's 6th, Olave 7th, and Mbuka is in the 10th round. Justin, let's start with you on this group. Your thoughts?
So DJ Moore has been kind of an enigma for me. I don't know what I want to do with him, and I'm just curious to see how Ben Johnson uses him. If he gets the St. Brown role, Jameson Williams. Again, I hope they really gassed him up this year. The OC, the head coach, they've said really good things about him. It'll be interesting to see how he is. I think in his 4th year now. Chris Olave, I just feel like he's going to get another concussion. It doesn't help that all his quarterbacks are buns. Like, it sucks. It is what it is. He's a good player. Man, I'm so excited to watch Ibuka. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear Matt talk about him. This kid is going to be a dog, and I hate that he's in the NFC South.
Yep, unfortunately for Hugh. And look, when the Tampa Bay had drafted him, we were not expecting that. We were not expecting Ibuka at all. And it's like, wow. And then you kind of think about it, like we didn't even like it. And then you would go, well, wait a minute. Godwin's hurt. We didn't think he's going to play. Evans is getting older. This was I guess a dynasty play for Tampa Bay, if you want to look at it that way. They're thinking well ahead. Ibuka is a phenomenal receiver who was just behind some very, very good wide receivers at Ohio State. He is polished. He's ready. And you've heard Baker Mayfield talk about him. We have him at 32. I have him much, much higher. I think he could be as high as 24 in that 24 range. And we'll see how it plays out. Already he looks good. We've heard nothing but good things from coaches and media and all over Ibuka. And you can get him in the 10th round. I do think he'll climb a little bit. Here in these next couple weeks. People are drafting right now. I think there are some leagues that happened right now. We'll see those for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But Ibuka is my guy here at 32 in the 10th round. Insane value, and I wish I could push him higher. As far as JMO, I'm down on JMO this year. I don't really want anything to do with him. For me in that Detroit offense, it's only Gibbs is what I'm interested in. So, and I did hear DJ is interesting. I don't like him in the 4th, but they are trying to figure out ways to get him the ball. They want to put the ball in his hands as much as possible. So, Chance, I probably stole your thunder there a little bit, but I'm going to turn it over to you for this round.
The only thing about this group here, I mean, I don't like DJ Moore. I don't like Jameson Williams. I don't like Chris Olave. Like I just don't like those. I don't like those guys. There's too many weapons in Detroit. To me, the rise of Jameson Williams means the fall of Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Like if JMO is going to succeed, who's it going to take away from? Like, it's going to take away from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like that's just how it is. There's only so many receptions that can go around, and so I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is just a much better player. And then Chris Olave, as much as I love him as a player, I have zero trust is in his ability to finish the season. And then I'm the same with you guys. I am hot and ready for Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, I think the reasons, then somebody's going to say, well, why do you have Olave here at 31? And it's simply who else is going to catch the ball. Somebody's got to get it. So it is what it is. He's just going to get all the targets, him and Kamara. So 33 through 36, Zay Flowers in the 5th round, Ridley in the 6th round, Judy in the 7th, and Downs in the 10th. And again, this is going to top out our top 36, which gives you three wide receivers on your team. And Chance, I'm going to start with you and Zay Flowers. Your thoughts on him at 33 here?
Zay Flowers is a guy who, like, he's the one on a very productive offense, and he's our 33rd receiver. Like, he's the number 1 receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, who are a Super Bowl contending team. But we just don't. And Lamar Jackson showed last year he can throw the ball. Like the narrative that Lamar Jackson is just a runner and not a thrower is such a tired narrative. He's a great thrower of the ball. And I think that Zay Flowers in the 5th round, like, I struggle. Part of me goes, that's a little too high. Maybe it's not. I think he's a great prospect on a productive offense. This sounds crazy. It sounds crazy but I just don't know. Like, I just don't know how DeAndre Hopkins is going to fit into this offense, right? Like, they have D-Hop, and I understand that D-Hop is old and somewhat washed. But one thing he can do is high point the ball in the end zone, right? Like, that's something that he's still really good at doing. And they've shown that they can take older veterans, King Henry, and make them productive in that offense. So I like Zay Flowers a lot. If he was in the 6th or 7th round, oh man, I'd gobble him right up. I think he'd be awesome there. But I just don't. Even with how good Lamar Jackson was throwing the ball last year, I don't trust him. I just don't trust him.
Sure.
Fair enough. Justin, your thoughts on so Downs is your guy. You're really, really high on Downs this year. I'm less likely. I'm kind of liking Warren. I think Warren's going to get a lot of targets there, the rookie tight end. But give us your thoughts around Downs here this upcoming season.
So I think it was his target share. That's what I was like, dude, this is nuts. He had a 25% target share and a 32% first read share. So he's a first read on a play. Target share is they run some kind of pass, and let's say he's targeted 3 out of 10 times. So that means he'd have a 30% target share, just so you guys understand what that is. But he had a 25% target share, which is basis of a wide receiver 1. So any of the top 12 guys, they usually have something crazy like that. I'm just betting on he's going to get a ton of catches. He is a check down guy. He's a good receiver. He's 5'9", 171. He is victim weight. He is small, but he's an explosive wide receiver who I really like. In the 10th round, if I get him or Ibuka, I think Ibuka's draft stock is going to go crazy higher in the next couple weeks as we get closer to draft season. I think it'll be closer to the 6th or 7th round. I think Josh Downs will probably stay in that 10th round just because of the chaos that is the Colts offense. He is a 1. He doesn't look like your typical 1, but again, if you are getting 25% target share in any kind of offense, you got to take that, especially the 10th round, which I really, really like.
Super good value there. Judy, just real quick, I think Judy's in a really good spot in the 7th round. It just all depends on the quarterback and who's going to be there. But Ridley is the one I'm interested in with Ward. I think if you are a Ward guy, then you got to like Ridley. Either one of you, do you like Ridley in the 6th round here? I know we've got him at 34. He's probably going to get a lot of targets, but Chance, let me start with you and Ridley.
Man, I just have a hard time seeing Calvin Ridley without imagining him walking around with a cane. Like, he just feels old, you know? Remember when he played for the Falcons?
Yeah.
Wasn't that when they lost to the Broncos in the Super Bowl in 98? That's how old Calvin Ridley feels to me. You know, like, he's the dirtiest of dirty birds. But he's a guy that he's probably going to be more productive than I give him credit for. But I'm so much more excited for the young talent on that Tennessee offense than I am for Calvin Ridley. And I'm going to be wrong about it, right? I think he's a guy that you can draft because he'll be productive, because he has been productive. But there's so much new and shiny in that offense. Even, Chico Okonkwo, all those guys, it blows my mind that he had 120 targets and 64 catches. Like, it just doesn't seem
so bad.
like that's why I'm like so out on him. But again, if you look back at the rankings, he finished top 24.
He's
right?
27.
And I think
27 and a half PPR.
27 and a half PPR.
Ward is a much better quarterback than what they had last year play. So I think,
even
if he catches another quarter of those.
Levis slander. Everybody take it easy on Mandy's boy.
Yeah, no, it's too late for him. So I like him as well. You know, it might be a little bit low for Ridley, but I think we like him. Just not quite sure about the 6th round. It depends on what your construct is on building your team. Just pay close attention there for sure. So
great.
Some other players that we have here. And again, these are, I know we have them listed in numbers, but this is not a number. These are just players we want you to keep an eye on. I am a big Deebo Samuel guy. I think they're going to utilize him quite a bit. My colleagues here may disagree with me a little bit, but I really do feel like, especially if McLaurin decides to try to sit out or whatnot, but I'm really big on Deebo Samuel. I think he looks good in camp. Justin is a big fan of Golden, who looks very, very good in camp. Justin, why don't you give us a little background on why you like him?
Listen, when they drafted Matthew Golden, I was like, I'm out. I'm totally out on this. Like, this makes no sense. Like, they're just drafting a bunch of 2s. But, like, to Chance's point and to my dynasty team's point, like Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, they have surrounded them with talent, whether that's Josh Jacobs, whether that's Romeo Doubs, whether that's Jalen Reed, whether that's Matthew Golden now. I think this is the first Packers wide receiver that they've drafted in the first round, like, in their history. Like, it's a crazy stat. I don't know if it's right or not, but I think that's what it is. The biggest thing for me is when they were in their Packers like scrimmage, this big thing they do for the community out in Green Bay. He was in every single wide receiver, the 2 wide receiver sets, which is huge. Jalen Reed is not in any of those. So him and Dobbs are in those sets. You invested a first round draft pick in wide receivers. Those tend to hit. They used to have a very big hit rate. He's fast. I'm going to take the gamble on him in the 9th round. I think it's a pretty easy gamble for me. He's got a lot of rave reviews from Jordan Love, from LaFleur. LaFleur's a good coordinator, a good head coach. So again, I'm just betting on that first round buy-in, as well as him being in 2 wide receiver sets, which is what I wanted to see. I didn't think he would be in those, but he is. So,
and Reed is injured. We talked about that earlier in the show that he's probably going to miss week 1. But Jacoby Myers has got all the targets last year. A ton of targets for Las Vegas. They do have a new quarterback. I know they got 2 rookie wide receivers, but we'll see how that goes. You can get him in the 8th round. Odunze, just don't know with the Bears yet. We're still trying to figure them out. We saw them play today. Just no Caleb Williams. But keep in mind, Odunze could be part of that. Keon Coleman, I am high on Keon Coleman.
Like him
Chance,
a lot.
I'm going to kick it over to you here, and you can get me the 12th round.
I think that, again, because of the problem of Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., right? Because of Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, those guys who came out as rookies and lit it up. It used to be for years and years. It's like, hey, year 3 breakouts in wide receivers. That was like that was the go-to in fantasy football. Oh, year 3 breakout, year 3 breakout, year 3 breakout. Well, now we're spoiled on these rookies showing up and showing out. And so we don't give guys the time to develop. And I think that Keon Coleman, he played for Michigan State, he played for Florida State. I love being a college football guy and getting to watch these guys for years before they blow up. I always liked Keon Coleman, and I really think he could be someone that Josh Allen relies on in the red zone, because Khalil Shakir, we've talked about that. He's banged up. I think we've talked about it. They don't have a ton of guys, and Josh Allen, as much as he runs the ball, is going to throw it. I think you could see a really big leap for Keon Coleman this year.
I certainly agree. Rounding out kind of our area, Trey Harris here for the Chargers. I do like him. I think he might steal some stuff away from Ladd. Big bodied receiver that they could use, although we think they're more of a running team more than anything else. Wan'Dale Robinson, you heard us say at the very, very beginning of the show, was top 36 wide receiver, tons and tons and tons of targets. He's essentially going undrafted. I don't think anything's going to change in New York. There's nobody else there. So it's very possible. Romeo Doubs, Justin, you want to talk about him as far as that Packers wide receiver crew of who and who not, and you get him in the 18th round.
Yeah, he's just consistent. I think during our mock draft, these were the 2 guys I was in between. I'm like, why aren't these guys getting drafted? Like, again, Romeo played 13 games, had 72 targets, 46 receptions, 600 yards. Again, the Packers season was kind of up and down just because it just felt like everybody was getting hurt, and they really leaned on Josh Jacobs. I am more of a Wendell guy just because I feel like the Giants are going to be bad, so they'll probably be playing from behind. Packers will probably be pretty decent in a really tough NFC North team, NFC North division in general. But I think both these guys, if you have a last pick, don't pick a defense, just pick one of those guys. Wendell's gonna, if Wendell gets 140 targets and you get him in the 8th round, like that's stealing. Like, it's too easy.
Yeah. And then our last guy here, Diggs. Chance, take us home here with Stephon Diggs here in the 8th round.
If I'm going to be a Drake May believer, I got to believe in a wide receiver in New England. And there's a lot of young talent. We shout out Efton Chisholm earlier, but Stephon Diggs is still a really good route runner. And he has made the quarterbacks he's played with better. He just has. And so I think if he's coming off of his injury and he's back healthy, I think he really could be a receiver in that receiving room that shows out. And in the 8th round, like, if I'm going to believe in that offense and the step forward it's going to take, I got to believe in a wide receiver who's going to do that. And he could be a really sneaky wide receiver 1 on a team that could challenge for the division.
And he was on pace for that's okay. He was on pace for wide receiver 1 numbers for sure before he got hurt. So definitely like the step up in this offense, new coaches, new weapons around Drake May for sure. So Again, 8th round, don't sleep on him a little bit. Don't reach for him. If he falls. Snatch him up. He could be certainly your wide receiver 3 with number 1 upside. Moving on again. Hey, so you guys agree or disagree with our rankings? We leave a comment. Let us know. We had somebody leave a comment today, and it was Chase or Jefferson. That answer was Chase. I saw a couple people jumped on to watch. So in case that was you, we're taking Chase over that. But leave us a comment. We're here to help you guys win your fantasy leagues. Again, we're a bunch of guys been playing fantasy for a long time and just love talking ball and just love to get the bragging rights for sure. So. Well, gentlemen, another show ended, kind of coming to an end here. We crushed it. I really, really like our rankings. I believe we have running back rankings next. Is that correct?
Should be our last
That'll
one.
be big.
Yeah.
That'll be our last ranking show. And we definitely want to get into some sleepers and some, busts. We'll probably combine a show like that. We'll certainly do another mock draft here or there. Definitely would like to get into Justin's format of where he said first round, look for these guys, second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round. I would love to do that. Hopefully we can get that before the drafts all finish out, but I think that really would help you guys get the edge of what we're looking at. So before we sign off, Chance, we'll start with you. Anything that you have that you'd like to?
Just two quick things. One, I've been slacking in my commissioner responsibilities in one of my leagues. I got to get on my poop in the group there so I can get our keepers lined up and our date for that and get our stuff planned. I'm the commissioner of a couple other leagues, but this one I'm like, oh man, I'm just behind the 8 ball. I promise, league, why can't I win? I promise I'll get my poop in a group. Well, I'll get stuff out. And then last week I tried to do a short. Did you end up posting it?
Yeah.
I did post it,
It was just 6 minutes.
but it's not a short. It was way long.
Okay,
the short is 1 minute, not 6 minutes.
I want you to know I'm learning. I'm going to try to do some shorts this week for who to watch in these preseason games, who piques my interest as far as who's going to make the team, who wants to make some noise, who I'm going to watch for fantasy football reasons. So that's my hope, is to improve my shorts game. I'm about that long game.
Yeah, sad story just posted. So what's good? And we're just saying it's Chance Shorts skills are not good. So he's still working on that.
I'm about that long game.
I have no idea who this is.
It's Peyton from last night.
Oh yeah, it's Peyton. Yeah, it's Peyton. It's one of our youth guys. Hey Peyton, thanks for joining. Appreciate you jumping on. Go back and watch the show if you missed it. We just did a whole wide receiver ranking. Lots of fun. Kind of go there. So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We have enjoyed having you. From this time until next time, we will see you next time. Have a good night.
Lineberry, I'm sorry he didn't even ask you what it was.